Alright. I got a lot to get off my chest, I ain't gonna lie. I got a lot of stuff that's been on my mind. I've been moving around, thinking a lot, taking a lot of time for myself, dealing with like different things, dealing with different people, figuring out exactly what I want to do. I don't know if it's gonna be the first one I don't know, because I already recorded some, and we're gonna see which one comes out first.
I got this bitch on her knees. I gotta tell her please. She wanna go overseas. She wanna run overseas. I just been chasing the cheese. Foreign that came with no key.
So I'm gonna start with my day. My day was chill going into it. I didn't have like a lot to do, but I just finished a lot. Like within like the past 24 hours, I knocked out 2 essays and 2 presentations basically. Doing really well. And I had to knock those things out in order for me to start being able to work on creative stuff that I want to do, right? And it's been very good weather. The sun's been out, and since the sun's been out, I've been feeling good. I was planning on going to the gym and cleaning the bathroom in between this little time slot that I had before my classes and my non-critical classes. But I just sat in the park and sat in the sun, saw my sister and a couple of friends and whatnot. But like I was really taking time for myself because I didn't get a lot of sun these last couple of weeks because I just been nosedived into my work kind of, And I've been like losing myself in terms of like not being able to take more time for myself. I haven't been in the gym. I haven't been doing exactly how I kind of want it. And I've been having like girl troubles. And when that comes, it's like I realize that I need to stop allocating so much time towards that. And I need to distance a little bit from that so I could focus more on like what kind of like means to me. And that's what like I've been realizing lately. I've been listening to my Cole and shit. When I turn on the sideline story, everything starts to move. The head starts to the gears just start to turn. Facts. But but it's just, I realized that I just need more time for myself. And that I missed myself OD. Like I just missed myself and missed the feeling of always kind of staircasing. You know what I mean? Like staircasing in terms of just like feeling good and doing good, and progressing in different things. Like I was planning, after getting my work done, I wanted to, write a list of the things I wanted to do in the future in terms of like internship wise. I wanted to make a list of like marketing books so I could start learning how to like market in different ways. Still looking for marketing books, so if anybody got recommendations, let me know. But and I wanted to go check out Bose because I know they have a crazy library connection. A crazy library from all different types of books and stuff like that. So I wanted to go check that out as well. But I had like a couple of things to get to, but that was just like the main thing. It's just I relearned that for myself today that I need time, yo. So if y'all need your time and you guys not allocating enough time for yourselves to make sure that you guys are good and getting enough sun, get enough sun. Allocate some time for yourself. Take some days. It's needed, bro. It's needed for that progression. You need to be able to lock in on some certain things. It's not like you can't have your fun. I be having my fun. I'm about to go for my late night walk later tonight. But make sure that you balance it out with some things, making sure that you're progressing in the way that you want to progress, if you want to progress. But I got another thing, right? So although my NCC teacher or professor is very, I wouldn't say annoying, but like kind of just not well with their delivery on certain topics. He brought up a topic today and he was talking about what it means to be American, right? And obviously everybody in the class was like, shitting on America because that's how American kids in this day and age be, including myself. But they're like, he was like, I would think. So he asked the question and nobody was really answering. So he's like, some people would call like Americans as like generous. Everybody was smirking and stuff like that and like kind of like making jokes. And then everybody started actually raising their hand and people were saying like American, what it means to be American is like selfish or like non-sociable or like non-generous, right? Which I somewhat agree to. The reason why the teacher was saying that Americans were generous is because we give it's kind of foreign to give tips to like waiters and like waitresses and stuff like that. It's very foreign. I guess often Europeans doesn't tip like that. That's what he said. I think he's European. But that's what he was saying, as if like Americans are generous. And I mean, obviously I raised my hand. I was like, yo, that doesn't really make sense, because our waitresses and waiters don't get paid the salary that, you know, a regular person would be getting paid in other foreign countries. So obviously that's why we tip. It doesn't make us generous. It just makes it, you know, kind of like a social standard. But when it comes to like the kids and stuff like that, everybody was talking about how like Americans are selfish because, you know, like we don't really appreciate what we have and like the privilege that we have, and how we kind of like have privilege over other countries in terms of ego, right? So like not even like just having the privilege of like, you know, like first world things like having electricity everywhere, somewhat of like access to, I mean, all right water and stuff like that. But it was just saying like how we kind of like take that for granted a lot, which I agree with. But it brings me to the question of, not to the question, but to the topic of what we were talking about in my other global wars class, not the non-credit course, but in one of my global wars class, and we were speaking about how I was speaking about how there's such a disconnect from our generation when it comes to like patriotism, and not only patriotism but like nationalism as a country, you know, like we're losing so much of that, and that's like somewhat kind of it's very it's warranted. Obviously it's warranted, because like not a lot of people feel a genuine connection to our country. And it's low-key kind of scary at the same time, because like you're losing a lot of participation. Not only participation in like maybe like the military, but you're losing participation in normal holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter, and what you would call like American holidays. Of course, that's like associated with like Christian and stuff like that, which I just did a presentation and essay about. We could talk about that later, but it's just the fact that we're moving away from all of these public social gatherings and like social connectivity, you know, connectiveness or whatever you want to call it, but like just being together as like a society. We're kind of moving away from that, you know, and it's funny because honestly there's more grouping towards anti like American than more of like America itself, you know, which is kind of scary, but it's also warranted, because I mean, look how much we're doing to our own people, and giving to other people, and giving and choosing, picking and choosing of how we want to give or how we want to take and how we want to do things. It's like very obvious, like Western civilization-ish and stuff like that. So like it's very warranted, but it's just the lack of connectivity is kind of scary though, is not? Like we're losing not only like a sense of togetherness as a people, but we're losing like a sense of like empathy as well. And you would think that in a progressive society that's like moving towards like breaking down these like social normalities and stuff like that, that happened like during like the 80s and 60s and 70s and stuff like that, and we're breaking down those walls, but at the same time as we break down those walls, we're also losing empathy and like losing love for one another and love for each other and love for, you know, our nation or nations around us. It's kind of like a scary world we're going into, and I'm doing like a report about that in for my final for one of my DW classes, but it's going to be speaking towards like, I think it's off like the Nazarian ethics or something like that. I forgot the philosopher's name, but it's speaking towards like what the idea of love is, and applying that to contemporary society where we're losing a lot of empathy, even though we're going in a progressive world where I just explained. But I'm going to be speaking about that in terms of like cancel culture and the latest events and stuff like that, like the Brooklyn shooting. Prayers to everybody that was in that and had to deal with that. You know, like I'm in the city, and luckily I wasn't in that area, but it's just like very scary to kind of roam in like a city or even like society that's losing love and empathy. You know, it's crazy that people don't know this, but my dad sent me the guy's channel, because he had a YouTube channel, the dude that is suspected to commit these crimes. The dude that was suspected that committed these crimes had a YouTube channel and uploaded all these like hateful things and saying that like these people are gonna die. Not these people, but like certain people. I think it was like the precinct or something like that with like I think it was NYPD, but I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. But he put up on the screen of like how these people need to die, and in some situations, and like how like, a lot of love is getting lost in our society. And I don't know if that's because like our generation is very disconnected from faith as well, which is warranted again. But I don't know, and that's what like I'm exploring with my report too, because not only am I speaking towards like the loss of love, but like maybe what's the solution? Because I know that like as a generation, a new generation, we're moving more and more away from religion and moving more towards like secularism. And if we're moving more towards like secularism and like atheism and stuff like that, we have to couple that with something that's going to promote social cohesion, you know, like in some type of ways, because faith usually keeps people in check in terms of like moral standing and moral ground, and like sometimes love depends on your religion, obviously, but it's just that those usually kind of glue people together in some shape or form. So not in all cases, obviously, but in some shape or forms. And if we're gonna move towards away from that, which is towards every individual, it's up to you. But if we're gonna move towards away from that, then we need to couple it with something that's going to make us socially cohesive. Because if not, we're gonna continue to have these violent acts, and not only violent acts, but like just lack of empathy for each other. It's getting real sad, and it's getting real scary, to be honest, because not only that, but like we're moving in such a in all things, like I know everybody's like making jokes and stuff like that of saying that like the attack reminds of like Batman, but like if you guys saw Batman and like saw like what Gotham City was, or like just like how like kind of New York City is like moving into, it's scary. It's real life scary, because there's just a lot of darkness in that movie, and the darkness is something that I see progressively kind of like happening over time with the lack of empathy we show for each other. So I just hope that like in some shape or forms that big administrators and like government tries to see that, and not just see like, ooh, crime. So you know what I'm gonna do with crime? I'm gonna put more police officers out because they're gonna stop the crime, because they're the crime stoppers. Because it's a root problem. It's not like you're looking just at the social structure. You're looking at the root problem. The root problem is people are losing love and lack of empathy for each other. And not only that, but it's coupled with mental health situations and mental issues as well that's not being resolved or cared for. So as like a society, we need to progress. And you know, obviously this is not really gonna reach older people. It's probably gonna reach like younger people in my circles and stuff like that. So as we grow up, I hope that this will be something that we also like look to and kind of hold and be aware of when we're like dealing with people, like to have grace with people and to speak with grace, because it's important. But I guess that's gonna be the end to my late night talks, because I gotta go hop on the box. You feel me? I gotta go out, take my walk, and hop on the box, because I'm taking time for myself, because I completed a lot of things this week. I hope y'all completed some things this week. But yeah, it's been Saadiq. You feel me? A little late night talk for the one time. But yeah, I'm signing off for real. I'm gonna catch y'all. It's been Late Night Talks. Like, subscribe. I don't know where it's gonna be on TikTok, Reels, or something, so check it. But you feel me? Yeah.